The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily represent those of this station or its management. It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Natural Lawn and Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and downs.
Good morning and welcome to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. I'm Gene Sullivan.
And I'm Tony Crockett. How are you, Gene?
I tell you, all I can say is welcome to the tundra of Minnesota.
I was going to say,
will spring ever come?
How did you enjoy your summer? Last weekend.
Last weekend.
I hope you made the most of it.
Last weekend was fantastic.
Wasn't it amazing?
Yeah, but man, I'm really tired of this stuff.
Yeah, me too. It gets you down.
Yeah, folks, I suppose you are too. But to brighten up your corner, right where you are, you've turned into Where You Live with Gene and Tony. So we want to say welcome. We also want to say welcome to our board op, to Chris Wyatt Earp Huberty.
Scott, welcome to On the Way.
What was that?
No idea. Something titled Ricochet, but was not that.
I thought you were getting upset there on us there, Chris. But welcome to. We're glad to have you with us. We're glad to have you with us as well. We, of course, are broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. Remember, Natural Green is a locally owned, operated lawn and landscape care company, and their mission is to use the most environmentally sensitive products available to keep your lawn and landscape looking lush, beautiful, while still healthy for both people and pets. Give them a call, see what they can do for you today at 763-213-2410. We're also brought to you this hour by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. Let's begin with our first story, a very interesting one out of Colorado, and here is Property Management in the News. Property Management in the News is brought to you by Home Furniture and Abbey Floor Coverings. Their showrooms are staffed with professionals who will help you choose what you need to fit both your lifestyle and budget. Whatever you need, chances are they'll have what you're looking for. Now, if you wish to avail yourself of special pricing and discounts you won't find anywhere else, all Where You Live listeners can call Customer Service Coordinator Lori Matson at 952-224-2663. Well, Tony, our first story, this comes from the Denver Westward on April 3rd. It says, marijuana and HOAs. Can homeowners groups ban people from growing and using pot? You know, it's been in the news quite a bit.
Yeah. That
there have been, I think, a couple of states now that do allow people to grow and possess small quantities of pot.
Yep,
right?
And Colorado is one of those states. They put controls in place because they don't want people dealing it, but they're not. They're now allowing personal use, it sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so this was Amendment 64 that took place this year at the legislature. And part of the passage says this in Amendment 64. Possessing, growing, processing, transporting no more than 6 marijuana plants, with 3 or fewer being mature, flowering plants, and possession of the marijuana produced by the plants on the premises where the plants were grown, provided that the growing takes place in an enclosed, locked space, is not conducted openly or publicly, and is not made available for sale.
Okay, so that's what this new amendment to their Constitution says about possession of marijuana.
Yes.
This is now allowed. Okay.
And so the thing that people are asking in homeowner associations are, wait a minute, in an HOA, there are a majority of us that own this property together. Don't we have a say on the conduct and on what takes place at the property?
And especially these issues come up when conduct, behavior, habits infringe on the neighbor's rights to quiet enjoyment, right?
Uh-huh.
And certainly smoking has been a huge issue about among neighbors.
Yes, and what is interesting in this whole debate here is that a number of the people who are proponents for being able to grow and use marijuana have been opponents of smoking bans, and there have been a number of homeowner associations in Colorado that have banned and put in their governing documents that no smoking of cigarettes, cigars, pipes are allowed on a property. But now all of a sudden, they can't have their cake and eat it too here, it seems, doesn't it?
That's right. It's interesting that there's going to be a panel discussion on this issue as to how this new constitutional amendment can be dealt with by homeowners associations. And that's exactly what this one attorney, Jerry Orton, says, is he defines the debate. He says it's about whether the legal use, processing, and growing of marijuana is going to infringe on your neighbor in some way.
Yes.
Now, smoking certainly would. I would think. Don't you think they would have to look at it exactly the same way they look at smoking tobacco? That if secondhand smoke is bothering your neighbors, you have to do something about it?
Here's what's going on here. You are presuming common sense and that people are going to take a look at things in a fair manner.
I cannot tell you how often that gets me in serious trouble to make that presumption.
Yes, and to make that and it's really true here too. What's interesting in what took place is we're not talking about people. They were so gunning for wanting to get this passed, to be able to have and possess pot, that they wanted to make sure that this just wasn't any ordinary law. This isn't in state statute. What's interesting is that the article says that this language of what's called Amendment 64 that we just read is now enshrined in the state's constitution.
Seems to me that would be harder to argue against or harder to regulate against. Well, maybe impossible to regulate against.
That's the whole issue. It's the exact same argument or analogy we use with homeowner associations. You have the board of directors who have the ability to change rules and regulations at an association. When you're dealing something that is dealing with major rights and a change on everybody's behavior in an HOA, we've talked about, encouraged people to have those put in the governing documents, in the covenants and declarations, in the bylaws, because that requires a majority of the homeowners in that association to vote to put it in place, but then it can't be taken away. That's what they've done here. They've embedded this in the Constitution because they said the time is right now. And so now all of a sudden they're dealing with some issues, and people that are for marijuana are against people smoking cigarettes in a condominium in an HOA. It's kind of a quandary here.
Yeah, it would be. The Colorado Clean Indoor Air Act does address tobacco use and other offensive odors like cooking odors, but apparently it does not specify marijuana smoke either. But this attorney thinks the marijuana issue smoking marijuana will fall under that same kind of thought.
Yeah.
But there's more than one way to use marijuana. In fact, what I've heard is more and more people eat it these days than smoke it.
Okay, so
you bake it into cookies. In fact, Pat Boone was just on the Today Show this morning. His son was severely injured. I don't know how long ago, but is recovering from severe injuries and is using medical marijuana to help him.
Yeah. So the big issue here with what's going on in Colorado is how are HOAs going to react?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they going to jump into this issue head over heels, as this Jerry Orton, who's an attorney, said? Or he said many of them may look at this and evaluate it and potentially do nothing, leaving all the regulatory authority to either a state or local government. But some HOAs might jump right into it and start writing a rule saying,
Sure.
No, you can't do that.
No, this article says something I didn't know. It says the smell of growing marijuana may be offensive to some people. Not just the smell of secondhand smoke, but the smell of the growing plants might be offensive. So that's definitely something they've got to work out.
Yeah. Do you know what's also offensive? If we don't take time to take a break. So we need to do that right now. Folks, don't go away. A lot more of Where You Live with Gene and Tony after these messages.